Hello and welcome to Can TV 21 Hotline. Let's talk etiquette. Oh, I just love saying that. But my name is Nathan Wright and I'm the Executive Director of the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois. And I would like to invite you to call in and join me in this wonderful subject. And you will certainly be able to make a contribution to the subject that reflects everything we do in this society. Etiquette. Just amazing how that word resonates throughout everything I do and everything most of the rest of us do. And so please call me. Join in the conversation. You can call me at 312-738-1060. So call me. The number is right there below, as you can see it on the screen there. And I am so excited about being back on this show this week. And yes, what I would like to do is start with what we talked about last week. And I don't know if you were able to see the show or had the opportunity to tune us in, but we covered some very, very important subjects. And I want to continue with what we talked about on last Wednesday. Now, the subject of mentoring is a very, very important subject. Mentoring. And so what we have decided to do as part of the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois is add it and state it like etiquette-centered mentoring. Now, I know that's a little different, and I'm sure you probably have never heard anyone describe mentoring in that term. Etiquette-centered mentoring. Now, the reason we've added the word etiquette to mentoring is because we want our mentees to learn more about manners and morals. So we want to encourage our mentors to add manners and morals to their mentoring. And you can do this. This is not that complicated. It's about teaching your mentees the importance of good behavior. And it's a discipline. You can say you should act right or you should be good, but you have to dissect that. I mean, for them to intellectualize what it means to be good. What do you do to be good? Or what do you do to behave? See, so you have to really go through, take it to that next step and define it for them. So etiquette-centered mentoring is a new discipline, and we like to think of it as a new discipline, that we are advancing and promoting to our mentors, and there are lots of you out there, and we want to encourage you to add this thing called etiquette. So it's etiquette-centered mentoring. Now, last week I said I would be bringing some specific subjects to talk about in terms of the mentors out here who would like to become a mentor and mentee some child. Okay? So this term is so important that you kind of get a good understanding of it and how it is intellectualized so that you can be able to use it to the benefit of your mentees. So we're going to start out with subject number 1. Now let me put the overhead up so you can see what I'm speaking about. Now this one here, it says, etiquette-centered mentoring is teaching your mentees the value of having good manners and morals. There's a value system involved with having good manners and morals. But you have to intellectualize it for your mentees to appreciate it, to be able to understand how this can be incorporated into their thinking and into their behavior. A child has to be able to think it through, to evaluate it, in order to incorporate it in their behavior. So when we talk about manners, we're talking about a certain kind of way of behaving. And so we are asking our mentors out there to give this more thought, to understand that there's a quality of character involved in having good manners. There's a quality of character involved in having good morals. See, and if you want your mentees to be successful in this society, they have to have a better appreciation of why it's important to have good manners. But you, as a mentor, will have to do some research and educate yourself so that you will have a better understanding of what you're trying to convey to your mentees. Okay? And this is an ongoing process. It's an education that goes throughout that young person's life. And what we are doing as mentors, we are preparing our mentees for the adult world that they're going to enter at some point in their lives, and how successful they're going to be as adults is crucial, is critical. We already know about all the degenerate nonsense we see every day, and how our young people are buying into it, accepting it as good behavior, as acceptable behavior. They're not even questioning its ethics, or any other way of evaluating it, to think that, oh no, this is not how I want to behave. This is not a good model for me to follow. But when a child doesn't have a good grounding in manners from an intellectual standpoint, then what do you expect? What do you expect? And I'm talking to our parents. I'm talking to our uncles and cousins and neighbors, all of those people who have an opportunity to mentor some child. Now, last week I talked about the violence in Chicago. As you well know, it's an ongoing reality. People are dying at a young age, and it's so sad. But yet, we sit and say, oh, that's awful. That's terrible. But we aren't stepping up to do anything about it. That's the problem. We have to step up and do something about it. And I'm telling you from my own personal experiences, and I have been mentoring for over 30 years. Okay? None of my mentees have done anything to violate the law. I would put my life on their character, that they would never do anything illegal. And you can do the same thing as a mentor. I'm not doing anything that's radical, that's, it's rocket science or any of that. I'm only taking time to invest in that child's life. And that's the role we as elders have to play. We have to invest in that child's life. And that may mean saying a few things, or it may mean saying a lot. But if you want to have an impact on the future of that child, then you really have to be committed to this discipline. So add etiquette to your teachings and your value system that you're sharing with your mentees. Now, that's one subject. Good manners, I'll put it back up again so you can see it again. Good manners meaning being polite, being courteous, with some integrity with it. Understanding that your role in society is to be a contributor on the positive side of life. So if you have good manners, then you're considerate, you're courteous, you're empathetic when you have good manners. People will relate to you differently if you demonstrate that you have good manners. Good morals is critical because you can't corrupt a child who's already understands what it is to be moral. to be ethical, to be understanding that their role in society is to make a positive contribution. And ethics is a very important discipline. You can't corrupt a child, no matter what you put before them, if they're not corruptible. So their ethics, their character, their integrity, I remind my mentees every day that who are you is your character. Where are you going is based on your ethics, because you're going to be challenged. You're going to be tested. There's no doubt about it. So you have to already know what you're not going to do. And if you're not going to pick up a gun and harm someone, no one can make you do that. See? So having good manners and morals is an essential for all of our mentors out there to bring that into your teachings of your mentees. Now, the next one I have here I want to share with you is important, I think, because this is something that we all can do. So we don't have to have the violence that we're having. We don't have to have that. We're allowing it because we're allowing someone else to mentor our children in the negative side, in the corrupt side. They're being mentored to do negative things, to do corrupt things. Yes, they are. They are being mentored 24/24. And if you allow those mentors to mentee our children, then you can not be surprised when one has a gun in his hand shooting somebody down, or bringing some other kind of corrupt behavior into our children's lives. You can only blame yourself because they are being mentored, okay, by those corporations out there who are trying to sell them a product or buy into an idea that is antisocial or unethical. See? So save that child's life by making sure that child has his own personality based on what he knows is right and wrong. So the next one here I want to put up for you is etiquette-centered mentoring is teaching your mentees traditional values. Yes, traditional values are very, very important in you educating your mentees. What are traditional values? Now, some of us who are old enough can go back and have some recollection of traditional values. And those values are the values that made this society what it is today. I'm not talking about what we have today, but what was used to build this society, to create this society. Traditional values meaning that there's a history to what you do. It has a history to it. If you living in the moment and operating in the moment, you don't have any sense of what was yesterday or a year ago or 50 years ago. See, so traditional values are essential in order to understand your humanity. We all have this thing called humanity. So you need to educate your mentees on what traditional values represent. Now, you may think of it as the basics, like, you would grow up and become an adult, and you would find you a wife, and you would marry this woman, or she would marry you, and then you all would create a family, and you live happy ever after. That's really what that's part of traditional values. How we once contributed to the society we live in. You need to understand that part. Now, for the ones who are old enough to remember, when you lived in your community, it was a community. We all was on the same page with raising our children. And there was rules of behavior for each child in that community. Those are the traditions. That's part of our tradition. There's not much difference in the word tradition as well as customs. Our customs is the practice of what we practiced yesterday. You may say, well, celebrating Thanksgiving, that's a custom, that's a tradition. Christmas, that's a part of our tradition. Easter, these are more religious-based parts of our society. But that's part also of the tradition. There was a time when I wanted to date a young lady. I would be respectful and ask to come and visit her parents so that she could introduce me to her parents. That was part of our tradition. Now, it played a role. It was an important part of developing a relationship with this other person, because she wanted to know, what did her father and her mother think about me? That's important, because they're older and they can make a judgment about me. Is this young man the right young man for you, my dear? He had that cap cocked on the side of his head, and he was sagging those pants. And honey, I just don't believe this young man is for you, because of where we want you to go and how we want you to develop and evolve into adulthood. So, dear, you may like him, but he doesn't have the character. He doesn't have the good manners. He walked in and looked around and didn't even speak to your father. And when he did, he didn't know what to say to him. Yeah, sir. My name's Jimmy. Jimmy? Jimmy who? See? So his father and mother didn't educate him to understand that he is his last name more than he is his first name. So when he went in and said, hello, sir, my name is Jimmy Johnson or Williams or whatever, and it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. If he doesn't, you can't train him overnight. You just not able to train him overnight. So he is at a tremendous disadvantage because he lacked the education and good manners. He doesn't know how to behave in front of his girlfriend or wannabe girlfriend, parents. And see, it's so important that her parents validate you, because then she can be comfortable. Her father can know that you're going to treat his daughter properly. It's his daughter, okay? So he wants to know what kind of man she's going to go out with. So traditional values are well worth learning. When we started in school, they teach us math, okay? They go back to the traditional math. 2 plus 2 is what? 4. Okay? 4 plus 4 is what? 8. You can go back 1,000 years and it's still 2 plus 2 is 4. So that's traditional mathematics. See? So there are subjects that are critical that you have to bring focus to as a mentor, so that your mentee will understand that the language is part of our traditional values. So if you're saying, yeah, okay, tell your mentees to stop saying those words. It's what? It's yes. Respect the language, the English language. Teach your mentees to respect the language. Diction, pronunciation, that's critical. And the reason it's critical is because this is a capitalistic society. And how well you master the language and speak it has a lot to do with how much your income is going to be or not be. So you can say, Han, work at Walmart, pushing the carts for $7, $8 an hour. And they okay if you say, Han, yeah. See? So if you want your mentees to be in the unlimited income, unlimited, 80, 100, 500,000, millions, they have to master the language. That's part of the traditions that the money people are not going to change for you. They're not going to rework the language for you. They're not going to rewrite it for you. It's going to be written the correct way, and it's going to be spoken the correct way. See? So you have to remind your mentees that that's an important discipline. Okay? Let me do this last one here because our time is running out. I'm having such a good time. Ooh. Oh, wow. This is such a great subject. Let me give you this one here for the last one. Etiquette-centered mentoring is teaching your mentees the value of kindness and compassion. You can get so far in this world just by being kind. But you have to be orientated to understand how to apply kindness, how to exercise your values in kindness. And if you teach your mentees this is a quality worthy of their time and energy, that it will set a different tone about how people will see them and evaluate them. You have to have them understand that as a mentor. And it's not complicated. Compassion. A child that's compassionate, you know, that's going to be a great human being. That child is going to do awesome things. Just on the fact that he is empathetic to the conditions and circumstances of others. That's the kind of human beings we want to raise going forward. Not those who are impassionate, not those who are, so corrupt that they don't have any compassion at all for anybody. We're all part of one family, the human family. We're all really one. So compassion is critical for them to be able to be understanding and sympathetic to the conditions that may be affecting his brother. See, so we need a generation of compassionate people that do not put money first, but put your life first. And if they do that, then we have a great society. We're going to have to create a great society. We start with mentoring. And if we do that, I think we can reduce the violence to zero. In 10 years, I would say 10 years. If the community take on that role and start mentoring every child they see, hello young man, how are you? My name is, allow me to introduce myself. How is things in your life? Is there any way I can be of service to you? See, and that's what they are looking for you to show some concern for their welfare. And once they see that, they will know that what you are offering is good. That's what they want. They are our children, and they all are innocent. None of them are killers. We don't birth killers. We create killers. And we allow those individuals to become killers. It's our fault. There's no other reason for it. This human being has been so corrupted that they are willing to pick up a gun and kill somebody So anyway, next week we're going to have another awesome show, and we're going to get into etiquette-centered parenting. I want to get some lessons to our parents. Our parents are dropping the ball. They're not stepping up and doing the job that they should be doing. And so next week, that's going to be our subject, etiquette-centered parenting. So I thank you. Appreciate you listening, watching. Call in next week. Don't forget the number and the time. And we're going to have another great subject for you. My name is Nathan Wright, and once again, thank you so much for tuning us in. Good night.